Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Boy, oh boy, the president just talked about Judge Jeanine. Got some breaking news just happened, which we're going to get into. And then after that, I'm going to cover what's going on with Mamdani, which is completely insane, okay? But first, let's get to this. Now, just to catch you up to speed, Judge Jeanine, I talked about this on the podcast over the weekend, but just to give you a quick refresher, Judge Jeanine dropped all the charges against that Olympian who was indicted by a federal grand jury for vandalism of the reflecting pool. And not only did she drop the charges, remember, she had evidence. Judge Jeanine went to a D.C. federal grand jury and got an indictment. Now, how hard is it to get a federal indictment in a D.C. grand jury with an indictment that goes in favor of what Trump wants? That's almost unheard of, and it happened. So now here she is. Not only did she drop the charges, she put something in the statement that was insane. She said in the statement there was no vandalism at the reflecting pool, that it was the incompetence of the contractors that did the refurbishment. And that is crazy. I've talked about that over the weekend. I talked about it on the morning show today as well. And I told you she's been compromised when, we've seen the video of them vandalizing the reflecting pool. We've seen what they did to the grass next to it. And when she said there was no vandalism, that everything was because of the contractors, that's crazy talk, just crazy talk. And she's obviously compromised. Well, the president just had a press conference in the Oval Office, and he commented on it. Listen to this. A reporter asks, and then the president gives his response.
Please. Have you spoken to Jeanine Pirro about her decision to drop her?
No, Jeanine Pirro made a mistake. There was vandalism. I just told you we did, I think, 78. One of the things was the reflecting pool. Hasn't worked since 1922 because it always leaked. It always leaked from 1922. It's the largest, longest pool ever and all that. The concept is beautiful, but it always leaked because of the size, because of maintenance, whatever. But it was built in 1922, and from the day it was built, it leaked. Biden spent $58 million. Barack Hussein Obama spent much more than that. He said, I have an idea. Let's take the water from the Potomac. So they took the water from the Potomac, and it was putrid. It was putrid. It was a disaster. Biden was a disaster. I said, I'm going to get that fixed, along with Doug Burgum and Department of Interior. And we worked hard on that. Now, we worked hard on all 70. It's actually, I think, 81 now. You saw the new horses that just opened by the bridge with the gold. That was the way they were many years ago. Now they look better than they did many years ago. But these monuments look better than they did when they were originally built. Not just a little fix-up. We made them the way they were, plus. And everyone's so proud. The biggest, one of the bigger jobs was, not really the biggest, believe it or not, but one of the biggest was the reflecting pool.
Yeah. And
we did a great job. We sandblasted the stone outside. It was granite, so it has a long life. We did a great job. We got very expensive material to put on top of the surface that always leaked because it was stone. It was a stone surface. Always leaked. And we put it on, and it was beautiful. Now, we have photographs or tapes, like moving cameras, right? We have them where people are on the side cutting it with a box knife. So now I'm not saying I was 100% thrilled with the contractor, but the contractor was rushing. We wanted to get it open for July 4th, and we got it done. But in addition, there was vandalism. Number one, look at the grass, where the grass was all knocked out with a very, very powerful ingredient that we know very well what it is. I'm not going to say the name because people get ideas. And they put a terrible phrase, I won't say that either, but a terrible phrase on a massive piece of grass that we had just replaced. Kill the grass. We had to replace the grass. A lot of grass. In addition, they took knives or cutters and they cut the material. It's material. And they put their hands and they pulled it. And there was also some maintenance things that we would have routinely fixed. But we had that up and it was perfect. And then you had the bubblers, which get rid of the, what forms in the water. And that works great, but they turned it off because of the fight. Because it competed a little bit of noise during the fight. They turned it off. And it grows very rapidly in the water. But that actually works very well. And that's all. So now we're just about set to reopen it. And we had to replace cut areas where they cut it and ripped it. But there's a tape, and Jesse Waters, by the way, did a whole big thing on it. There's a tape that's out there that I posted on Truth, where you have people leaning over the side, the weakest part because of the flexibility. It moves. It's very complicated. It moves. And the softest part has to be flexible. And that's the stuff you can cut. And these guys knew what they were doing. And they cut all the way along the base. Cut, cut, cut. Now, when Janine looked at it, it was the day after the 4th of July, with the largest fireworks display in the world. And the stuff was laying all over the pool, the fireworks, because they used the pool as one of the, and it was all over the pool. It was the day after, very shortly thereafter. But that was working beautifully, and it was vandalized. And if you look at the tape, now the tape isn't a great tape in the sense that it's a little hard to say who it exactly was. But it was people cutting this very expensive material, waterproofing material. Anyway, it looked beautiful. And then they cut it, and they vandalized. And we weren't necessarily thrilled with the contractor, but they did a job, and they were fixing any problems. But then it got carried away because the judge was extremely unfriendly to Janine. And frankly, I think she choked because the judge was really vicious. Instead of going after the people that did it, the judge went after her and went after her department. And I guess she choked. I don't know what the hell happened.
Are you reconsidering her role here?
I don't know what. You don't. You're fake news. Don't ever talk again. You're fake news. One of the worst in the business. Fortunately, nobody watches you. But
oh man,
something happened. There was vandalism there, and there was some things from the contractor which we would fix. But it's almost complete, and when it opens, it's incredible. It's really incredible. But remember this: it leaked from 1922. It opened in 1922. They never solved the leak problem because it was stone, and the cracks with the stone. Stone is really not a waterproofing material. We essentially use a very high-grade swimming pool type material, which was my idea. I was very proud of that idea. And by the way, I didn't know the contractor. Everyone said the contractor. I didn't know the contractor. But when it was completed, it was perfect. But then somebody went in and cut it, just like they did the grass. Nobody talks about the grass. The grass have helicopter pictures of what they did. Wasn't it 87? Right? Do you know what they did, right? Did you see what they did? Did you see what they wrote? What did they write?
8647.
That's right. 8647. They 86 them. So it's 8647. They didn't do 45. At least they left 45 out. But and massive letters on the grass, 8647. And nobody talked about that. That was vandalism too. We had to replace all that grass. It was a tremendous amount of grass. Because when you hit it with this poison, it's acid, it kills the grass no matter how. You can't even clean it, even if you got there right after. It's very powerful stuff. I know it well. So people did great damage to this thing because they're sick people.
That's right.
Who's representing the man is a man from Crew, a sleazebag who's been suing me for my whole political, hasn't won, he's lost all the time. But Crew, do you know what Crew is? It's a third-rate operation that's supposed to be a charity, but it's not. They used it for political reasons. So we should be proud of our monuments, and we should be proud of our city. And that was open before they did the damage. It was open It never looked more beautiful. It looked like a mirror. And that's what it was supposed to be. It was a very dark color, because otherwise you don't see it as a reflecting pool. And it looked beautiful. Well, it'll look just as beautiful. It'll be fixed and open over the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay, so we got a lot of new information there. He said, and I'm sure we're going to get more detail on this as time goes on. He said the judge turned on Judge Jeanine. He said she choked. That means she dropped the ball. She cowered out. She caved. She couldn't handle the heat, so she got out of the kitchen, whatever. She just couldn't handle it, and she caved. She caved. She surrendered to the liberal judge. How disappointing. You know, Judge Jeanine, and that's President Trump. He knows everything, right? Yeah, she should resign. She's not capable. You know, Judge Jeanine, I'm not angry at Judge Jeanine right now. Maybe I should be. I don't know. Are you angry at her? I wouldn't say I'm angry at Judge Jeanine. I want her to resign or be fired. But she's had her, and maybe I am. The more I think about it, maybe I'm starting to get angry now. You know, Judge Jeanine, she's had this reputation of being tough. Very tough woman. And from what President Trump is telling us here, that's all TV acting. That she's really not tough. She couldn't handle it. She's not the first person that hasn't been able to handle it. Bongino cracked, and Judge Jeanine's cracked. They both choked, as Trump says. Very disappointing. You know, she should have kept that case going. They went to a grand jury and got a federal indictment in a D.C. grand jury. Yeah, I'm getting angry as I'm thinking about it and talking about it. I really am. By the way, welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And everyone watching on YouTube, also make sure that you like the video if you don't mind. When you like the video, it gets it recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. Look at how difficult it's been to get indictments against people like Letitia James with the mortgage fraud allegations, with all that evidence where she said that her father was her husband to get a better mortgage rate and all of that. There were other things as well. And to go into a D.C. grand jury and get an indictment in Trump's favor, you would have thought that was impossible. I was shocked they got the indictment. That's probably why the judge lashed out at Judge Jeanine and her team, because he's like, how did this happen? How did this get through? Right? So the indictment got through, and she should have taken it to trial. Let it go to court and let a jury of this guy's peers decide, because what's going to happen to this guy? He's going to be on the Act Blue tour. This Olympian is going to, I don't know what medals he won or what Olympics he was in. But he's going to be celebrated like an Olympian, because this is going to be considered a victory against Trump. And they're so desperate to have victories against Trump. And Judge Jeanine screwed up on this one. I don't care. Take it to trial. At her age, she's made her money. She's not young. When she's done with this, she might go back to TV. Sometimes people that are young, they're starting out in Washington, or maybe they're just starting to make it in Washington, and they got a whole career ahead of them, and those people cave real quick to the pressure, because they plan on living and working in D.C. for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Judge Jeanine, this is her last rodeo in D.C. The best she could hope for after this after Trump well, she might have been in line to be the attorney general for the second MAGA president. That's a possibility. Not anymore, because she's not tough. It's all fake. She's an actress. But she might have had a chance to go back on TV, but that was it. At her age, what is she worried about what some liberal judge appointed by some Democrat president in D.C. says to her and her team? You go to trial, and you let the jury decide. And I'll tell you, when when President Trump fired Pam Bondi, which was awesome, I was like, well, maybe Judge Jeanine will be the next Attorney General. And then when he, I like Todd Blanchett, and that's awesome, and he's doing a great job. Boy, did President Trump make a smart move not making Judge Jeanine the Attorney General, because you know what? She wouldn't have been able to handle that either. And all of these things that they've done would never have happened, like going after the Southern Poverty Law Center, the indictment against Comey and all that stuff. None of it would have happened because Judge Jeanine can't handle it. Oh, yeah. Maybe she could be the new judge. Yeah, maybe she could get on the People's Court. Yeah. She was one of the most respected people from the television world by MAGA world. She really was, because she had gone through a lot of crap on Fox News Channel from those hacks over there, those rhinos over at Fox, and she stood up to them. And it was so exciting when she got this job. And she did some good stuff. I mean, she helped clean up the crime in D.C. and everything, and we're happy that she did all that. But now she's shown her true colors, just like Amy Coney Barrett, just like Bongino, just like Pam Bondi. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's just what happens sometimes. And I just don't understand why a woman at her stage of life would crack under the pressure from some DC hack political monsters that wear a robe. I just don't understand that. If she was younger and had a family and thought she had a whole career ahead of her, they worry about that. And it's not that I would say it was okay, but I could understand caving to the pressure. But at this stage in life, I don't get it, do you? Now, if you'd like to call in, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to get into Mamdani in just a bit, but the number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Brian,
Yeah.
I'm getting off of the Bluetooth. How's that? So that super. Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Okay, IB. Hey, brother.
What's up?
This is very interesting. I was kind of torn a little bit, just like Dan Bongino, because I believe, considering it's the Beltway and the power and the background and the fear that they can put into people, that she obviously has gotten to, because I've been torn about how you've been saying at the end of it, she was saying there was like nothing there in a way, nothing there. That's bull. That's a bull.
Yeah.
I believe someone who actually worked for the company that did the renovation of the reflecting pool is a lib nut, a Trump hater.
Possible.
They do this for a living, and whoever that they are, they knew how to go back to sabotage the work they've done.
Yeah.
Because what Trump just said just signified to me it's got to be an inside job. Someone who knows how the process works and how to sabotage it. But Shapiro, and I always loved Jeanine. I used to watch it for a long time.
Yeah.
For her to say there was no cutting, Trump said they cut 250 feet, because it was a 250 feet anniversary. That Trump said they cut it with like a box knife cutter, and if she denied that, it doesn't matter who came along after the fact to then stick their hand in the water and pull up. Someone in the company that put it down, that actually did the job, knows about it. And I think we should go back to the videos and, like you say, you know how somebody walks, how they move, they carry themselves. We have to find out, we have to go back to that. But the pressure is on her because it is the Beltway, just like I am disappointed in Dan Bongino because he loves his daughter.
Well, President Trump went through in detail that they have video of them doing the vandalism. And the thing with Judge Jeanine, she had a federal indictment, so that was done. She could have gone to trial. But not only did she drop the charges, she said in the filings with the court when she dropped the charges that there was no vandalism at the reflecting pool. It was the fault of the contractors. What the heck?
That shows total fear. Fear. Because remember how the guy came from California to Kavanaugh's house with a gun. These people, they're scared. I understand she doesn't have security protection. She wants to protect herself, just like Amy Coney Barrett. I get it. But to put that little extra statement like you've been saying, because I've been paying attention to you saying that, why does she have to put that little statement at the end that there was no sabotage? I mean, whatever, I forgot how you worded it.
Yeah.
But that is dead fish, like 5 days smelling old dead fish. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad for her. The position that she's in, because we are dealing with ruthless people that would slit your throat. Okay, and I cannot put myself in her position, but she
and they have this talking point. Like I've had several people call me on this on the show already. Some today, some yesterday. Well, she didn't want to risk her law license. What would she be risking her law license for? She got a federal indictment from a federal grand jury. So the grand jury said that there was enough evidence to go to trial to indict the guy.
We heard that idiot from Chicago this morning talking about she wasn't want to get her license.
But that's their talking point. He's not the only one. He's not an independent thinker. He was parroting what the liberal talking point is on that.
I don't know what's going on. I think she's in fear of her life. There's no way that Janine Shapiro, that strong alpha female person on TV, all of a sudden did a 180.
Yeah.
That smells to high heaven fish, and we're going to figure that out down the road.
It's really sad.
And she didn't even consult it with Trump. She didn't talk to Trump. She just did that on her own without talking to Trump.
It looks like it.
Big problem.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
All right, brother.
All right, take care. IB, finally got the phone working. I'd certainly like to hear your thoughts on this. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll free. If you're watching live on YouTube, the number is pinned in the live chat, all right? It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll get into Mamdani with Mamdani's going to decide who can eat in New York City, which is crazy. We'll talk about that and more, and take more of your calls after this break. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception creation. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, we're back, and that Bible study link is in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on. Click that link and check out that incredible Bible study. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You got some nerve passing judgment on Judge Janine like that.
The President of the United States said
She's
she
probably
choked.
got more information than you'll ever be able to comprehend.
The President of the
There's probably
United
more to it than you
States
know,
said that she
more to it
choked.
than I know.
The President of the
What's that?
the President of the United States said she choked to a liberal hack judge, that there's video of the vandalism being committed.
Well, I think things are probably getting a little out of hand. I don't think.
Well, wait a minute. No, hold on a second. Do you want to apologize? I'm quoting the President of the United States. You want to take back your attack on me?
Well, the President of the United States doesn't always get things right. So.
Well, who knows more about? He said he has videotapes, and he's seen them.
Yeah. Well, let's see them then.
He had a press conference, and something dropped about the government grocery stores. Listen.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that?
Okay. Now, what this is about in the beginning, what this question is about, is everything's discounted because it's not for profit. It's a communist grocery store. So what the discussion is in this press conference is, well, why don't people just come in, buy a bunch of cheap stuff, and then resell it for a profit somewhere else? Well, he's got a plan, don't you know?
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Jeannie Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So,
okay, did you hear what she said? They're going to give you a card like a library card. You're going to have ID. Listen to what she talks fast. She uses a lot of letters and everything, but she says it.
Quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Jeannie Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that. And so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
Now, what did he bring her in from North Korea because she handles like government grocery stores in North Korea to handle this way? Okay, so in Mamdani's government-owned commie grocery stores, you need ID. It's going to be like a library card. You need ID, and that's going to decide how much food you can buy and if you can buy it. Right? So he's going to decide. Think about this. Mamdani's going to decide a bunch of things here. He's going to decide who can eat and who can't eat and how much you can eat. And if you don't have ID, there's special ID they're going to give you. It's like a library card. You got a special ID proving that you are legally a resident of New York and allowed to use this place. Wow. They don't support the SAVE Act. No ID for voting, of course. But ID to eat. No ID, no food for you. No ID, no soup for you. Mamdani's going to decide who can eat, who can't eat, and how much you can eat. Is this what democracy looks like, liberals? You can't have 2 bags of potato chips. Mamdani says 1 bag is enough for a family of your size. Move on. You can't have two jars of peanut butter. Mamdani says 1 jar of peanut butter a month is enough for you. Toilet paper? 1 roll a month per person per household. If that's not enough, too bad. Mamdani says so. This is the world you're in. Mamdani's world. Yeah, that's right. Communism. Welcome to it. This is what democracy looks like. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Dave. And
Yeah, okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Tim from Lake Worth.
Hey.
About Judge Janine.
Yep.
I just believe that she was nothing more than a TV personality. I do agree that she did stand up for President Trump all the time she was on Fox, on the 5 and that. But one thing I got to disagree with you is I don't care if she was just starting out her career and had 10 kids, a husband, and a house. She was hired to do a job, and she should have did it.
Oh,
And if
no,
she
hold on a
couldn't
second.
do it,
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that you can understand how they get to younger people. She
Yes,
is
I understand
okay.
that.
She's an older lady. All right. So hold on. Let me answer these lines. At the stage of life she's in, there's no future career, especially in Washington, right? So I mean,
Yes,
and the president used the word she choked.
Yep, absolutely. I personally believe he needs to have somebody in place immediately, and she needs to go. And one other thing, Brian, nobody, I don't care how good they act, because as far as I'm concerned, they're all actors. None of them are journalists. I don't like anybody on Fox. I do not like that channel.
Okay, I will. That's a good thing you bring up. I will tell you this. I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't care for it. Yeah.
You know, President Trump, he commented a long time ago about how he always liked Mr. Rupert, or however you say his name, from Fox.
Rupert Murdoch?
Yes, and Murdoch, that's right. He wouldn't, he's reluctant to turn everything over to his kids, because all of his kids said when he dies, it's going completely leftist.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was hoping for the best, but I did not like the pick.
Listen, if I don't watch Fox. I mean, I talk about it from time to time when there's an event, or there's a clip, but I agree with you. I've been done with Fox for 6 years, about 6.5 years, like most MAGA people.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, buddy, you have a good evening. I'll call back.
All right, you too. Good call. Agree with you there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yep, you're on the air.
I have a question.
Yeah, you trying to listen to yourself in the background? What's your question about?
No.
What's your question about?
It's just like, it's really serious.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Trey, and I'm calling from Texas.
How old are you?
15.
No, I talk to adults, not kids. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Well, Mamdani, is, if you look at what's happening.
No, give me 1 second there, Sean. Hang in there. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
They're all leaving in drones, and they're all the ones that supported him originally, and they're starting to get a real shock wave of truth hitting them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to realize, well, what did I do? What did I just do? And I think the same effect is going to happen when you get all these people moving out because of how we're hiking everything up. Well, it's the same principle that's going to happen here with these IDs and everything, and people are going to realize, well, this was I think there'll be every step this guy takes is another regret, and on the people, and it's something they voted for. They have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just this is what's going to happen. They're going to start. A lot of people in New
Well,
York
a couple
are gonna
things.
start
One,
to really-
it's so absurd for them to require ID, right? To you know, I can go to the grocery store anywhere in this town. I can go grocery shopping without ID.
Yeah.
Right.
I just can't.
And
I've
you
never
know what?
heard
And I
it
can
hurt.
buy as much as I want wherever I go. They, you know, come on.
That's right. America.
Well, it's freedom.
You know, freedom. Yeah, freedom is the main vein. But I just can't believe that there was something that would actually be proposed like this. I've never heard anything so more absurd. It's absolutely insane.
What part of it's absurd? What part of it?
Well, I mean, the idea that you got to show ID to
buy food.
to actually get food.
Yeah.
To buy food.
Not to vote.
Come on. I mean,
not to vote. And you got and not only that, you have to prove you're legally eligible to buy food. You have to show the photo ID to prove that you're a legal resident of the city of New York so that you can buy food, right?
It reminds me of when the winter came during New York when you had to shovel when you wanted shovelers. You had to show like 2 forms of ID and all kinds of proof of that you exist to go and shovel, which actually didn't even happen. He was trying to get volunteer shovelers, because he couldn't afford anything on the streets because the streets were overwhelmed and because how he ran everything during the winter.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And that's how he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's going complete communism here.
Yeah.
And
well, it seemed
it's not
to
gonna
me
work.
when his North Korean person or CCP person that's handling the commie grocery store, she realized what she was saying right in the middle of it, so she kind of mumbled over it.
Well, you know what? It's just exactly. This is what they're doing. See, now also what they're doing is they're trying to cut down the socialist agenda now. They're trying to take things out now and present it as more presentable, because now they're getting called out for their crap. And they're doing it. Once they start talking and they realize, well, most people aren't going to like this. And, well, it's too late. You let the genie out of the bottle already now. So people are, I would, now New York, it's questionable how lost they really are. I think they're totally lost, right? At least they're going to have to learn a hard lesson for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But with the decisions that they've made to let this fool get in, a guy that's done nothing in his whole life, that's been taken care of by, multi-millionaires.
Well, he did. The only work he's done is working to lose his Ugandan accent, so he sounds kind of American most of the time.
He's a snake oil salesman. He's just like Obama's apprentice.
I love this. So you've got to show ID to buy food. You've got to show ID proving that you're legally a resident of that area of New York City, so you can buy food. I mean, come on. What a joke.
I just don't understand. Well, what else? What's the next thing? You're gonna have to show, like, we're gonna have air centers now that you can only have so much air. I mean, that
Yes.
could be. I'm not exaggerating. That could.
You might have to.
Anything
You
can
might.
happen.
Hey, listen. If you're gonna ride the New York City subway, you might have to get on a scale first. You know what I mean? If you're too heavy. Hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, Noah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, by the way, the president responded. This is the same press conference as earlier, and the president was asked about Mamdani.
Mr. President, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is requiring an ID to access his government-run grocery stores. What then is your message to Democrats who do not want to pass the Save America Act and ensure ID at the ballot box?
This was just announced.
Yeah.
I heard about it. Yeah. Well, I wish they'd have an ID to access the voting booth.
Yeah.
They don't want to access the voting booth with any identification. We want voter ID, and we want proof of citizenship. Well, he also had a thing where you had to have 2 different IDs to shovel snow during the winter.
That's right.
So that's a very friendly question. I like her. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Very good. All right.
One American News, absolutely. I don't have One American News on my cable. Is One American News on like Pluto or Tubi or something? Where can I get One American News? I used to have it on my cable, and I used to watch it all the time because they were the first before Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube. They were the ones they got pretty famous and successful carrying all the Trump rallies when no one else would. And then they took it off my cable and a bunch of people's cable, and I stopped watching it, One American News. Where can I get that? On one of the, it's got to be on Pluto or Tubi. It's got to be on one of those. All right, now if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, The number is toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are. Now, right as I was starting the program today, the thunderstorm stopped. You know, it's rainy season here in the state of Florida, and it's been raining pretty bad today. Bad thunderstorm. It was like nighttime, it looked, in the middle of the day. The rain was coming down, the lightning was coming down, and it was pretty bad out there. That's what it's like in Florida. Florida is the tropics, and it rains every day. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. You want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida, from the Atlantic Ocean to the coast of the Gulf of America and everywhere in between. And remember, Tom Laporta isn't just a roofer, he's also a contractor. And in the state of Florida, under Florida law, that allows him to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the replacement or the repair of your roof. Not only does that speed things up a lot, and it really does, it also can save you a lot of time and money, because your insurance company doesn't want to do the work. They don't want to pay for the work. So sometimes people hire a public adjuster. Oh my God, the public adjuster gets 20% of what the insurance company gives you. So you got to come up with that 20% for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof. And it can take a year. Sometimes people hire lawyers, and that gets super expensive. Since Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing can deal directly with your insurance company on the repair or the replacement of your roof, you may be able to avoid the adjuster and the lawyer. It'll save you a lot of money and get that roof fixed or that new roof in place quickly. Give him a call or text, because this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. Now, the number on the website is the office number, and you can call that number, but if you want to get the owner of the company, Tom Laporta, directly, call or text on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a simple way to bring more wellness into your everyday life? You can do just that with Veda Life, your trusted source for premium wellness products inspired by natural living and timeless traditions. From beautifully crafted copper water bottles, copper mugs, to eco-friendly cork yoga mats and wellness accessories, every product is thoughtfully selected to support a healthier lifestyle. Complete your self-care routine with Veda Life's Elegance Bronze Tools, designed to help you relax, refresh, and rejuvenate. Whether you're building a wellness routine or searching for that perfect gift, Veda Life offers quality products you'll enjoy for years to come. They ship worldwide too, making it easy to experience premium wellness wherever you are. Follow Veda Life on Facebook and Instagram at Veda Life CA. That's VEDA. And visit them online at VedaLife.ca to explore the complete collection. That's VedaLife.ca, where wellness meets quality. VedaLife.ca. If you're a business owner, founder, or marketer, you already know that great content matters. The problem is finding the time to write it or the budget to keep hiring writers. That's where MayWrites.co comes in. Think of MayWrites.co as your on-demand writing employee. Need blog posts? No problem. Newsletters? They do that too. LinkedIn content? No worries. Website copy? Even an ebook? Just send your request. There's no pre-word charges, no per-project invoices, and no surprise cost. With MayWrites.co, you get unlimited writing requests for one simple monthly rate. It's like having a professional writer on your team. You'll get fast turnaround, consistent quality, and the freedom to stop worrying about who will write your next piece of content. Best of all, you can try it free for 7 days. If it's not the right fit, you can cancel anytime. Stop chasing writers, stop paying by the project, and start creating more content with less stress. Visit MayWrites.co right now. That's MayWrites, MayWrites.co, your on-demand writing employee. Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health, and that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, UV index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair powered by artificial intelligence.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Imagine what happens, at this commie grocery store of Mamdani's, where you need ID to prove you're eligible to buy food. He's going to decide how much food you can buy, right? So Mamdani, who, you see how he and his wife look. I saw him eating the porridge with his fingers, right? Can't imagine. What was that about? You can eat pizza with your fingers. You can eat French fries with your fingers. You can have a hamburger, but you don't eat like oatmeal and stuff and soup with your fingers, or grits and things like that. But anyway, so Mamdani, remember how these Democrats are. Even during the Michelle Obama era, she says we have an obesity epidemic. People are eating too much. And do you remember what happened with Michelle Obama with that? Remember what she did? She started changing what they served at schools for lunch, and kids were going hungry. They reduced the calories that kids were getting at lunchtime at the school. This has all been reversed since Obama left office, because she was actually causing hunger. She was trying to combat obesity, but created a hunger crisis. Well, isn't that what Mamdani's doing? He's going to decide how many calories you can have a month. And if you use your calories up, and you got 2 weeks left in the month, well, hey, you're on a diet. It's a starvation diet until you get your new allotment of food from Comrade Mamdani. That's wonderful. Yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Noah from Buffalo. Please don't just block me again.
Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. I want you to think about that. The purpose of the government grocery store is to help people that don't have enough money for food, right? Well, isn't that what EBT is all about? So I don't understand. We've got the EBT, but he's got the grocery store going on, right? So what happens? You and your family, you're struggling, you go to Mamdani's grocery store. Mamdani has decided what your daily calorie intake is. That's what he's telling us, because he doesn't want people to be able to go here and buy as much as they want, because they might resell it. Right? So he's going to decide how many calories a month you're allowed to have. Think about that. So you go there. It's the beginning of your food allotment period. Say it's the first of the month. You go and you load up. You buy all the food that Mamdani says you can buy. Right? Your kids come home from school and they pig out. And you're out of food. And it's only the 6th or 7th of the month. And Mamdani says you can't buy any more food until the 1st of next month. What do you do? Now, let me tell you, Saturday Night Live, based in New York City, if they don't do a skit on this, they're a joke. The joke aren't the things they do. This is a perfect skit. See, where Mamdani comes from in Uganda, the only thing I can say that I'm grateful for about Mamdani is that he was not born in the United States, because he can't run for president. Believe me, the Democrats would love to run this guy for president. But where Mamdani's from, you have these rich elitists like him, right? He's got that, his family have that big mansion with a compound and everything. So he is part of the ruling elite. See, this is what it's like in these communist countries. We're seeing it, except we're seeing it on high definition television or online. These are the kind of things that you see in history documentaries about communism in Cuba or in the Soviet Union or North Korea. And we're seeing it in real time, live streaming from City Hall in New York City today. It's crazy town is what it is. It's totally insane. All right, let's get back to the president. He had a great press conference today.
You know, I don't happen to be running, but a lot of very good Republicans are running. And you have a sick ideology taking place.
He's talking about democratic socialism, which of course is sick.
You know, I don't happen to be running, but a lot of very good Republicans are running. And you have a sick ideology taking place right now that, you know, hopefully they'll be defeated because they'll destroy the country if they ever take over. But this desk is like a blocking desk. No matter who gets in. If it's bad, I block. And I'm good at blocking. If it's bad, if it's stupid things like the things they want to do, we want to get rid of the U.S. Senate. I don't like a lot of Senate, just to be honest with you. I don't want to get rid of the Senate. We want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to put now 21 or 23 people, that's the real, on the Supreme Court, or get rid of it. They want to get rid of the presidency. They want to have an appointed executive.
See, this is an overthrow of the United States. They want to appoint the chief executive. There was a TV movie, some of you will remember, and this movie is available on YouTube. It's not that good, but it was called America, and America was spelled with a K. It starred Chris Christopherson and Robert Urich. And it was in the future. It took place in the year, way in the future, like the year 1998 or something. And the Soviet Union had conquered the United States, and the country was communist. And they still had a Congress, and they had a president. But in the movie America, I tell you, talk about predictive programming. The president was appointed by a ruling committee, a Soviet ruling committee. And that's what the Democratic Socialists are talking about doing here. And if they're talking about eliminating the Supreme Court, the presidency, and the Senate, that is an overthrow of the American government. That is treason. That is sedition. That is insurrection. It is treason. It is illegal.
Supreme Court, or get rid of it. They want to get rid of the presidency. They want to have an appointed executive running. That's a communist thing, you know? That's a communist thing. These are sick people. And, you know, I said it the other day, and it maybe doesn't sound that important, but when a country goes bad, like look at the blue cities, what do they have in common, aside from massive crime? Much more crime. The Republicans have very little crime. But what do the blue cities have in mind? And also you can say this with nations when they go bad. The blue cities have something in common, crime, high crime, vicious, violent crime. But what do they have in common? They're all dirty. They're filthy dirty. Their streets are dirty. Their streets smell. Their storefronts are broken. Their trees are all gross. Everything about the place is dirty. And I don't want to mention any specific city. It's really all of them. But you go into these cities that are blue, they're crime-ridden, and they're filthy dirty.
That's right.
They're like Washington, D.C. was a year and a half ago, with graffiti all over the place, with crime all over the place, with people afraid to be here. You had to be ashamed of your capital. Some of the most beautiful buildings built in the real time. Like you look at the Supreme Court building, and they put graffiti on it. The most beautiful columns I've ever seen. In fact, our columns are going to be nicer at the ballroom. I said, I want the Supreme Court, but better. But you look at those columns, how magnificent, and then you see graffiti on the side of the building. No artistry, just bad people. But the one thing they all have in common, crime, the two things, crime, but they're disgusting. They're filthy dirty. The streets are dirty. They have people lying all over the street doing you know what. They're all the same. And this is what we're going to put in it. Not going to happen in our country.
Yeah, these democratic... You know what democratic socialism is, right? In one word? Communism. Communism. That's it. I mean, that's just the way it is. Okay, now, the president also spoke about Iran today. So let's get to this a little bit because, he called off this massive attack. And, I have no problem with him wiping out all of Iran. I'm pretty sick and tired of Iran. But the president, he said yesterday on Air Force One, he doesn't want to kill all these people. He really doesn't. I mean, he's very much a Christian, and he throughout his entire life, from Vietnam till now, he's always been a peaceful president, right? A peaceful person who was opposed to war. And he doesn't want to kill people. He said it on Air Force One. Here he is talking about what's going on with Iran now.
I think we're going to maybe get something, but I want to give him every last chance before decapitation. Very tough to do what we have planned, still planned. We'll see what happens. But it's a very, very tough thing to do. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already, through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large. Hopefully they'll come to their senses, because what happened cannot have a nuclear weapon, but hopefully they'll come to their senses. So they called me, and they said, please don't attack, we'll make a deal. That's the real truth, and everyone knows it. And who wouldn't call? And they found out through leaks and sleazebags, a lot of sleazebags, leakers. Yep. Leakers should be put in jail. They have to strengthen up the laws for leakers. But in this case, leakers helped because they said the severity of the attack, and Iran knew it. They knew what was coming. It was going to come last night, and it would have gone on for a long time, and there'd be essentially very little left. There'd be nothing left. And if I'm given a chance to let a lot of people live, I want to give that chance.
Yeah, I think he wants to give him that chance. I mean, he's going to have to pull the trigger at some point. I mean, he's going to have to. He's trying not to. I get it, but he's going to have to do it. You can't. The Iranians are never going to You're always going to have the fanatics. They've got to be wiped out. They just have to be wiped out. And it's a sad thing, but it's what's got to be done. Okay, now here's the president today. This was a great Oval Office press conference today. Here he is talking about the Islamic Muslim invasion of Spain.
Well, you have to be very careful with the whole socialist thing. I think in many cases it's much more than socialist. They skipped socialism, they went directly to communism.
Exactly.
But when I saw what happened in Spain, I said, we had a version of that. You could say much worse. We allowed 25 million people under Joe Biden.
That's right.
The Democrats. We had open borders, and countries all over the world, almost all of them, sent people that they don't want into our country. And we've gotten a lot of them out, and we're getting more, including murders. And I always say 11,888. That was the number of murders. Many of them committed more than one murder. And we're going to be just like that if you put these lunatics in that I see running for office. We had an open border a year and a half ago. We had the worst border in the history of our country. Now we have the best border. We haven't had one person come in, and this is done by the Democrats, not by left-leaning people. They do charts. And they have, in 15 months, not one person has come in through our southern border illegally. Now, that's pretty amazing. I'd say maybe 10, maybe 15. They say none. And believe me, if they did, they'd love to report it. But you could go outside in those vast plazas where hundreds of thousands of people gathered when they stormed our country, just like they did, in my opinion, worse, just like they did to Spain. They stormed our country. And those borders are, those big plazas that were built, they put concrete down. And now you look at them, and there's grass growing in the cracks. Nobody comes up because they know they're not going to get through. And if they do get through, they're going to be taken out, brought back to their country. So we've done a fantastic job. Somebody said you did it too fast. I did it in 30 days, my first 30 days.
That's right.
Biden couldn't do it. He couldn't get it done. He tried at the end. He tried to do something because it was so overwhelming. It was so bad politically.
Yeah, you know, what happened in Spain. It's so interesting how everyone picked up on this right away, and everyone said, "Well, that's what was happening here," but times a lot more because it was a lot worse with Biden, with over 25 million, and the people that Biden was rushing across the border, they were just like these guys, except they were mostly Hispanic, criminals, felons, right, and the worst, murderers, sex offenders, people like that. I mean, these are the worst of the worst when it comes to crime, no doubt about it. Now, if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description to my Patreon page, and when you become a Patreon supporter, of course, you're supporting my content and everything, and I want to thank everyone who is a Patreon supporter for that. But you do get access to a lot of exclusive content, including my Patreon-only live streams, which is a live stream like here on YouTube. There's a live chat room with a couple of differences. One, it's a troll-free zone. No trolls, no liberals allowed. That's number one. Number two, I talk about things that I cannot talk about here or anywhere else. And those of you that are Patreon supporters, you've seen in my live streams, I talk about a lot of things you've never heard me talk about anywhere else before, and you won't, except on that Patreon live stream for obvious reasons, okay? There's a link in the description on whatever platform you're listening on to my Patreon page, okay? Now, when you go there, there's an option for a free membership. If you do that, not only do you not have access to any of the content, you don't even get to see the content, okay? So you have to be a paying Patreon supporter, but that starts at just $5 a month. And not only do you get access to the content, my live streams that happen after you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to the entire back catalog of content as well. So again, there's a link in the description. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube, and you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode of the podcast. The names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Rick, Michael, and Robert R. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. So, a lot's going on right now, right? And eventually, President Trump is going to have to either obliterate Iran or leave. And one thing we know about Donald Trump, this was, what we were talking about at the beginning with Judge Jeanine. He doesn't like quitters. He's not a quitter. So he will finish it. But, we've had so many presidents that run around going to church on Sundays and telling you how much of a Christian they are. I think Donald Trump is the most Christian-believing president we've had in my life. Because, he was talking a couple months ago on Air Force One. I heard he mention this at least twice, that he was worried he wasn't going to go to heaven. And what he was talking about is because he's ordered, this was because of military strikes. People get killed in these military strikes. I've never seen any other president concerned about their place in heaven. And it makes me wonder, especially George W. Bush, who made such a big deal about being a born-again Christian, but then he lies about WMDs and killed a lot of people. And he's responsible for the deaths on both sides over a WMD lie. President Trump is the only president I've ever seen that's worried about his place in heaven. I think that's a good thing, don't you? As opposed to these fake Christians or atheists. I think so. And I think that's something to respect, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll do what he thinks is best, and then we'll support him because he always knows what's best. But there's no question in my mind that no other president has worried so much about their place in heaven, and that means he is a true Christian. A true Christian. Only a true Christian would worry about that. Now, I know that the liberals, they just can't stand anyone in the Trump family, and they're always talking about Eric and Don Jr. in terrible ways. This is Hunter Biden, first child to get a pardon from his daddy, and it was one of the few pardons that we know was an actual signature of Joe Biden. It wasn't the auto pen. And we know about his vices and his crimes and everything else. And he's still as scummy as ever. This is an interview he gave. Listen to how he talks.
As it relates to Donald Trump, fuck him. Fuck his sons. Fuck his daughter. I mean it. All of them. The whole family, down to the grandchildren. I hope for the rest of time that I am on this earth, that their names will live in ignominy. And by the way, here's the thing, like, oh, this is going to get clipped and this is going to be the thing. And you go out there, but let me just tell you something. What would you expect me to say? What would you expect me to say about a man that treats my father that way publicly? What would you expect me to say?
Now, keep in mind, they shot President Trump, tried to shoot him again, tried to put him in prison. They broke into his home, tossed his home, broke into his safe, emptied out the drawers of his office, came into his home with machine guns, tossed Barron's room, went in Melania's closet, tossed that, emptied out her underwear drawer, and went through all of Melania's underwear. But Hunter, he's the victim.
About a man that treats my mother that way, that treats my sister that way. They stole her fucking diary and published it.
No, she left her diary in the drug rehab because she was so stoned she forgot it.
Said my dad is a pedophile.
Yeah.
That's all they say about Trump on the left.
They were involved in that directly. What would you expect me to say about a group of people that have the capacity and the capability to do that?
I'd have a little class. I haven't heard Don Jr. or Eric talk that way about people. They may be upset and they may say things, but I haven't heard them use that kind of language. You know, one thing I've learned about people, it's so true. Children are reflections of their parents, aren't they? You know, and a lot of times when I'm talking to my daughter and she's talking to me, I can hear my own voice in her and what she says. And sometimes when I'm talking, I can hear my parents in my head, like, oh, you understand what I mean? You have the voice of your parents oftentimes, a lot of the times, don't you? Have any of you guys picked that up with yourself or your children? So the way that Hunter Biden lives his life and the way he speaks, that's how Joe and Jill are. They just clean it up for the public because they're politicians. Now, if you're new to my program, welcome. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. You know, I am live on YouTube every morning of the week, weekdays and weekends. I am live most afternoons as well, 7 days a week. And anytime I'm in the studio, live streaming from the studio, I'm taking live calls like you heard me do early on in today's show. I do that every day. Take live calls, totally screenless and unvetted on the program. And the number is a toll-free number. It's always pinned in the live chat. So if you want to catch the live show that's in video form and be able to call me live and see all the video and see me and everything else, that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for The Brian Craig Show. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcast, search for The Brian Craig Show for the audio version. But if you want the video version and live and call me live, that's on YouTube. Search The Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And those of you that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you could do me the favor on YouTube, like the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. So please like the video. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning live, taking your calls. Till then, take care.